This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Hey everybody, this is Randy. I just kind of want to give a quick heads up, a quick apology actually before you start listening to this video. When I recorded my episode tonight, the wrong microphone actually recorded my end of the audio, so I'm going to sound a little bit tinny tonight. I hope you can put up with it. If not, I apologize. Audio quality will be back up to normal as of tomorrow. Thanks again for your patience, and again, enjoy the show.
Welcome to Elder Geeks Elder Speak. Today is Thursday, April 19th, 2012. Today in the background you're going to be seeing some more sword and sorcery. You'll see in the video in background, I actually got stuck at one point and just got really frustrated with the game, but once I finally figured it out, it was definitely an oh duh kind of moment. But as I'm kind of progressing in the game, I'm enjoying it a little bit more and more, but I want to reiterate how much I'm loving this game, but not for the sake of that the same way that I love other games. I'm loving it in the fact that I want to sit down with just a cup of coffee and just drink it while I'm drink my coffee and play this game as I'm slowly waking up. There's something awesome about this game first thing in the morning. But I digress. Welcome back to the show, Phil Summers. Phil?
Hi! Oh, I got an applause. Thank you,
man.
Thank you.
Hey, have I had you back on the show yet since your most recent cartoon?
Yeah, we actually, we talked about it on Game Club, so I guess...
So we had you on Game Club, but we didn't have you on here. We didn't have you on Elder Speak.
Well, that is true. No, not on Elder Speak.
Well, officially, congratulations once again from here for that, even though I plugged you once before. But how do you feel, man? Do you feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders?
Well, sort of, yeah. But, I took a couple days break, and now it's like, well, now I got to make the next one. So, so the weight has been placed back on. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to get it out there, and it was received better than I thought it would be. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
That's awesome.
Good.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Thanks. Are you ready for some news? There's really not a whole lot to go over today, but I kind of figured it'd be good discussion.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Game Club and sword and sorcery, I kind of wanted to do that maybe in the future one time, because I was really looking forward to that game, and I downloaded it on a really old iPod Touch, and it ran like absolute garbage. So now that it's on Steam, I can finally play it. So
nice.
Maybe we could do that one.
I'm down with that idea, man. I'm down with that idea. That could have actually been a safe fallback if you weren't able to run Grimrock, but it seems like you're able to run Grimrock.
Yeah, I can run Grimrock.
All right, moving on to the news. First thing first, I woke up this morning and I got an email from Bethesda telling me that Prey 2 wasn't dead. I'll read the email verbatim and I'll pop it up on screen. It says, please find below an update on Prey 2. Development of Prey 2 has not been canceled, but the game will not be released in 2012 as planned. The delay is due to the fact that the game development has not progressed satisfactorily this past year, and the game does not currently meet our quality standards. Prey 2 has shown great promise, and we regret disappointing our fans. We have made a substantial investment in the game and development to deliver the experience that the fans want. We are determined to only release the AAA game that fans rightfully expect, and are unwilling to compromise our quality standards to meet a release date. I've never ever seen a letter like that come from a company when they said that they were bumping a game back. Most of the time it's just, meh, game's been delayed again.
Right. Well, it seems to me that it definitely had gone through some sort of development hell.
Yeah, I had heard rumors that no one had touched it since November.
Yeah, I just saw that too after you had sent me the link about it. Yeah, that's entirely possible. And maybe because rumors started to leak, these guys just decided to put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, probably.
Now, I never played Prey, so you played Prey, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that considered like a AAA game? Is that are people looking forward to Prey 2?
Prey 1, I don't know if I would call Prey 1 a AAA game. I would say it was a highly polished game, and I think that it has a little bit more than a cult following with it. But Prey 2, based on the trailer that they kind of released, I think that a lot of people were really psyched with it. And, this is also coming from Bethesda. they've got to kind of be careful now because of how well received Skyrim was and how well received Fallout 3 and New Vegas were.
True.
They've got to be really careful about the games that they kind of release from here on out. They are standing on the same ground that BioWare was standing on, say, 7 years ago.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about now that they have like this reputation to uphold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. It's always, I have no interest in Prey 2, but I mean, for me, if I were a fan, I would almost feel like relieved. Like, it sucks that you have to wait for your favorite game to come out or whatever, but, if they're coming out and saying that they're delaying it a year so they can polish this thing up or redo it or whatever, it's most likely for the better. They don't want to release a pile of crap. So,
yeah. There were other games like, do you remember Alpha Protocol?
Yes.
I was excited so much for that game. That everything about that game seemed like it was going to be right up my alley. It was put together by one of my favorite developers. It was a role-playing game mixed with spy/espionage kind of stealthy aspects. And everything about that said, this is going to be a game that Randy loves. And they kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it, and they never gave reasons why. And then when it finally came out, it was just this reheated piece of crap. Now, there are people out there that will defend that game to the death, but it is a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't work for every case. I mean, look at it happened with Splatterhouse this gen. Like, that switched developers mid-development. That was also delayed for over a year or whatever. When it came out, no one gave a crap. So. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could go either way, but I don't know. Did those games ever have people come out and say something like this?
No, that's what I'm saying. They never came out and
right.
said, like, hey, we're just going to want to put a little bit more polish. They were just delayed, and everybody was just kind of scratching their heads. So I'm kind of reassured by this simple, what is this, a 4-sentence email?
Right.
I feel reassured by this.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good move.
Makes me sleep nerdier, safe sleeps at night. God of War Ascension was announced recently, and there's a nice little trailer that comes out with that. It's kind of this ink blot / blood in water kind of trailer.
Yeah, that doesn't show you anything.
Really. Yeah, they don't really show anything. Not at all. But it's coming.
It's coming. It's a prequel. Are you excited?
No. Are you?
No, but it'll probably be good. I mean, we talked about God of War 3. You did not finish that, correct? You didn't. Yeah, like God of War for me has been this series where I always try not to care about it, and then like I'll play one of the games, and then I kind of like love it as I'm playing it, and then I kind of forget about it afterward. They're like good, like it's like great popcorn game, like a popcorn movie,
Totally.
Yeah, and 3, I put 3 off forever. I actually just played through it recently, within the last, 5 months probably.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was, thought it was a hell of a ride going through it, but, I'll probably treat this one the same way. I probably just won't play it forever, and eventually I'll get to it. But yeah, I'm not, pumped or anything, but I feel like at this point you know what to expect. This is going to be, what, the 6th God of War?
Let's see, there was 1, 2, and 3, and then how many were on PSP?
2 PSPs, yeah. And I didn't play either PSP one.
So. I have a funny PSP story about the God of War games. And this is getting off a little bit off track, but I think it'll make probably everybody's chuckle. One time my wife was actually going in for surgery, and I was waiting in the waiting room with her mother and father. And I had my PSP with me, and actually my DS, because I knew it was going to be kind of a longer surgery.
You were doubled up on games.
It was ready to roll. And in fact, I had not touched God of War. I kind of saved it because I knew I was going to be in that waiting room for a little while, and I wanted to get my mind off the thing, so I brought God of War with me. And my mother-in-law was just pacing like crazy, just could not sit still. So I put the PSP in her hand, and I gave her God of War. She was like, "What do I do?" And I said, "Just push buttons." I said, "This one moves him around." And I said, "All these buttons make him jump and attack and stuff." She was like, "Okay." And she plays it for 2 seconds. She just keeps going, "Oh my. Oh my. I just tore that man's arms off." And this is in a waiting room. And so I would just laughing my ass off. And so I was like, "Okay, let me take that back from you."
And you took it from her?
Yeah, she was done. Like, once she tore somebody's arms off within the first 2 minutes of the game, she was done with it.
Nothing like screaming that in the middle of a waiting room for surgery as well.
Yeah, right. My God, I just tore his arms off.
I like that you were just doubled up on consoles. That's pretty. How did your pockets fit all these?
I think it was a colder month, so I was able to like double up in my jackets. It was kind of funny because there were these other kids that were like waiting in the waiting room as well for like their mom or dad having surgery, and they were like sharing one Nintendo DS, and they were looking over, and I heard them go, "That guy has both a PSP and a DS."
You were the hero, man.
Yeah, I was the old guy with the little game consoles.
That's pretty good.
But anyway, back to the God of War 6, or I guess it's just God of War 4, or officially.
It's not even 4.
Oh, that's right. It's just God of War Ascension.
Ascension, yeah.
Okay, but God of War Ascension, like you were saying, man, God of War is a really cool game. I have absolutely nothing against God of War games. I know I will get exactly what I expect from them. Really fun puzzles, awesome and responsive controls, and, I get to beat up people. Along
like
the way.
Amazing bosses, amazing set pieces.
Yeah, but I know I'm not going to get a great story. In fact, it's one of the most bland stories of all time. I mean, the first one was neat. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy went back and he killed a god and all this other kind of crap. But then after that, it's like, yeah, he's mad at the gods. They're going to work him in again somehow, and he's going to kill somebody else. So,
and those games always blow their load in the first 15 minutes too, because like. The first stage of every God of War game is like incredible. Always like better than anything else you'll see, which is a cool, like, I get that, like, games are supposed to have an amazing like opening, and God of War like always nails it, but they never actually like
but they did. They slow down, and then
right.
They kind of get good again at the end, but not as good as the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, like they really. I mean, like, all my favorite parts of God of War, they're always the beginning of the game. Like, the first one, the Hydra, like, fighting the Hydra was, like, so... I remember just being totally blown away by that. I had zero interest to play that game, and my brother had bought it, and he brought it over for me to try. He's like, hey, just try it. And, that Hydra battle, like, I was sold. And then 2, of course, with the big statue running around wrecking everything was awesome. And then in 3, when you're fighting Poseidon and shit, those are like when I think of those games, that's what I always think of the beginnings of all of them. So,
yeah, good games, not terrible. I get why people would be really excited about it because, let's be honest, there aren't that many other games that are like that anymore. I guess the equivalent of that would be like the modern day version of Double Dragon almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess there's not too many. Yeah, I mean, I guess Ninja Gaiden 3 just came out. It's kind of similar-ish. Just like a beat 'em up. I got slammed.
Really slammed. I haven't touched it yet. Have you?
No, I couldn't get into the 3D ones. I tried. I couldn't wait for the first one to come out on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
And I shamefully was defeated by it, and that kind of just put me off. Yeah.
I'm surprised that a game defeated you.
Games defeat me a lot.
That makes me sad because the games that you like crush on just destroy me. They tear my face off and then laugh at me as they eat my face.
Oh, that happens to me too. I'm not great at all games, just certain ones, certain types. Usually the 2D variety I'm pretty good at.
Yeah. All right, moving on. It turns out that the White House is actually very interested in what they can learn about video games. An official statement or official part of Barack Obama's speech actually says, I want you guys to be stuck in video games that's teaching you something other than just blowing up. I mean, this is actually not the first time that this administration has shown some interest in video games. I do recall that towards the beginning of his administration that he was actually funding towards artistic video games as well.
Is this his secret way of telling everybody to go play Fez? Like the timing of it.
I don't know, maybe. But there's a reason why he's doing this, and there are a lot of people that get very defensive about the government kind of investing in video games. But the reality is, software companies, video game companies, are some of the most successful industries in the United States right now. And so there's a reason why we do that, because it's a good international market that that we have a strong hold in anymore. We're not the lead in car manufacturing anymore. We're not the lead in a lot of stuff anymore. But video games, the U.S. is starting to, if they aren't already, lead the pack.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. It's certainly not Japan anymore. I guess there's a lot of European games too, games from Europe that are, I don't know. It's definitely split, but you're right. I mean, American video games are, you're like you said, they're leading the pack kind of now.
And we used to have a strong hold in movies, but Hollywood's been on the decline for a little while now. And the foreign movie market's actually kind of picking up. So it's stuff like that. We're losing grip in some realm of entertainment, like movies, but we're definitely on the up with video games, which is great.
Yeah.
But this is actually a link to. Excuse me. This is actually a link to an NPR article, so please head on over and check that out. It's very interesting. There's a whole story that you can actually listen to. It's a mere 8 minutes 32 seconds long, and here's your chance to actually hear a video game news story that's not from a video game news site, which is kind of interesting, especially coming from such a source like NPR.
Right.
So that's
and the guy even talks about Journey a little bit too. Kind of scoffs at the interviewer, asks if he's playing if he digs The Sims or Angry Birds. So I guess the interviewer is obviously coming from like the casual standpoint.
Right.
And this dude's like, no, I'm playing Journey. So they're not talking to an idiot here, I guess. right. Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm done with Sims, and Sims was so 10 years ago. Yeah, really.
And I only play Angry Birds when I'm on the subway or in the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm taking a shit. Yeah.
Oh man. But so that's that. I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on some of the community feedback that we had from yesterday's question as to FMV trailers. Are they still acceptable? Yes or no? Got a couple of pretty good responses. This first one is from True Blue Gamer. He wrote, about Dishonored, I feel there is no need to get upset about them making a CG trailer before anything else, since they already have explained the game, what it will be about. For those who haven't been on the lookout for this game, it is essentially like Deus Ex meets BioShock, in a sense that it's an open world or semi-open world, with the game of choices, carefully constructed level design, and powers taken from their respectively inspirations, and all of this is going to be done in a steampunked theme world. Johnny47 actually sent me an email, and he wrote, "Hello, Randy. I saw the trailer for Dishonored, and I really love it. I think it's all right for the first trailer to reveal if it's just CGI, because for one thing, maybe Bethesda didn't have enough to show full gameplay of the game yet. But when developers do it for games like Assassin's Creed, it's just lazy and usually hiding something. How crap the game is, like how bad the game is, like Dead Island. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Dishonored. I really love how the game looks and how unique the time period / setting is. I don't think anyone's done a game in this setting before." Now, do you want to go first on this, Phil? Because like FMV trailers, there's a part of them that bothers me, and I
don't like them.
No,
I haven't liked them since Final Fantasy VII.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think that was like the first and last time when I think we should be just seeing purely CGI trailers.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of a lie, and when the last person that you read there, he said, maybe the game's not far along enough yet. Then don't tell us about your game if it's not far along. Like, you know what I mean? Don't show it to us.
But I'm giving the counter reason. The reason why they show it so early is because they need to generate crowd interest in the game, so that their investors and stuff like that are like, oh, there's this much crowd excitement over the game. Well, then we're going to continue funding. Keep going.
Yeah, that gets dangerous too. What, you're going to have people excited for 2 years? Mm-hmm. This example came to my head. No one knew about Donkey Kong Country Returns until that E3, and it came out 4 months later, and the game sold I guess it's Donkey Kong, so it's unfair.
Right.
But the game sold a bajillion copies. Mm-hmm. But no one knew it existed until a few months before it came out. So I don't really buy the whole you got to know about it 2 years in advance thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I could see like a year build up or whatever, I guess. How far away is this thing?
Oh, Dishonored?
Yeah.
Not for a while. Not
More
for
than
while.
a year?
Probably a year if we're lucky. Most likely 2013, my guess.
Wow.
If it comes out in if we'll be lucky if it's 2013. We won't be seeing it in 2012.
Yeah.
But my thought is with CGI trailers, I think they're fine if you have them as like a supplemental thing.
Right. If
But-
you're as long as there's like video of like the game, actual game in there, that's cool.
Right. Or even screenshots, for crying out loud. Still screenshots I'm cool with. But I think that there is a dishonesty about it. Like with here's two perfect examples of how to not do it. Remember the commercials for the Old Republic on television?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lick of gameplay. So if you watched those commercials for the Old Republic on TV, that shit looks hotter than the 3 prequels put together. You know?
Right.
That looks like the greatest thing since Star Wars A New Hope. But that's not what you get when you go home and play the game. Sure, we gamers who have been playing for a long time know that. But if you're just a person that only gets your game information from magazine clippings and television commercials and stuff like that, you're not gonna know.
Right. That even goes back to Final Fantasy VII, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you thought you were going to get this, like, I mean, it was a great game, but if you didn't know what Final Fantasy, like, you know, when I saw those commercials, you know, I said I was tired of them, but as a fan, I was just like, I cannot wait to play Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I knew what I was getting myself into, whereas I don't think people probably knew what they were getting themselves into. Like you said, it's very misleading.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we are in the day and age right now where the graphics that they use in-game are just awesome.
Right.
They're so good, there's no reason to hire a third-person animation company to put together something like that. I get that you want to have this kind of cinematic experience, but I think they can do that with in-game footage. I'm trying to think back to the original BioShock, of how it originally looked. I was excited about that from the very first video that I saw for that. And they had, I think, like 2 developer videos that just blew my mind, and then it wasn't until a while later that they started doing CGI trailers. And that's fine, because I have videos to go back on and see what the game looked like.
Right.
But, I don't know. That's why they bug me. I think they get me more excited about the fact that I would want to watch a movie that would be just like that.
Yeah, you know, and here's another one that irks me too, is all the trailers that just focus on the story. Like, I don't even care about that anymore. Just, like, show me the footage. I'm at this point where I just want to see footage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand when there's trailers, like, the CG and just, like, the main character or some kind of narrator telling you what's going on. It's like, I don't care what's going on. Just show me what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's, like, the old man game fan coming out.
Yeah, it's our curmudgeonly get off my lawn kind of mentality.
It totally is. Like, yeah, I like the God of War Ascension thing. Like, that teaser, I know it's a teaser, but it did nothing for me. Like, I don't care about what Kratos is up to, and you're just seeing, like, some pictures flash. Like, just show me the giant creature I'm going to stab in the eyeball. You know, like, that's all I want to see. I just want to see how cool he looks, and I want to see how I'm going to stab him.
Plus, I mean, it's God of War. We know exactly what the game is going to look like.
Right.
They could literally
That's
put
true,
out a
too.
press release that said, hey, God of War Ascension's coming, and it would have the same exact effect
Right.
as that video did.
Right. I mean, that's true, too. Like, you know, with God of War, you know what you're getting, but still, show it to me. Show me how it looks better. Or show me, like, what will get me more excited about it. Don't just tell me it's coming, you know. Show me why I should care about God of War again.
I think I liked the Dishonored trailer. What I saw I thought was really neat, but it actually made me lower my expectations for the game because it reminded me so much of the original trailer for Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that, but it was they showed like Altair standing up in front of a clock tower bell, and then he like drops down and he rushes up and assassinates this guy and kind of runs away.
Yeah,
jumps
I
off
remember
the
being
building. Yeah, but anyway.
I remember
The final game was maybe 1/10 of as awesome as that trailer was.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's... If they had just shown us screen caps, or maybe 5 minutes of gameplay, as a developer thing, hey, check it out, we're working on this game called Assassin's Creed, and then later on showed that CGI video saying this is going to be our opening video for the game, I'm down with that.
All right. Yeah, I don't. I'm with you on this one, I guess. The FMV commercials bother me.
I was kind of hoping that you weren't going to be with me on it.
I'm sorry.
I was hoping we were going to, like, yell at each other and stuff.
No. Sorry to disappoint. No way, Jose.
But I'm sure the viewers are totally disagree. They're probably like, God, you guys are cranky and you're wrong and you're old.
Not wrong. You guys, if you disagree with us now, you will agree with us in 5 to 10 years. Mark my words. If you're still playing video games, you will agree with us.
I think it is. I think it might be an age thing. It might be an impatience thing. It's show me what the game looks like. You know, I don't care what you want it to look like. I don't care about the setting that you want to paint. Show me the setting that you have painted. Show me how the game is going to play. I don't care what you're I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny you even said the patience part too. Like I have even just my tolerance for like waiting for things. Like sometimes I want to play like a PlayStation game at night, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then I start thinking, I'm like, I gotta wait for the game to load. I gotta go through all these load screens. I gotta do that, and I'm like, not playing PlayStation tonight. And then I'll just flip open the DS because I already have like a game on in the middle of something.
Just plug and play, baby.
Right, and then I play it for 10 minutes or whatever, and I'm done. And I got my fix. Like I feel like playing like a game on PS3 or Xbox. It's like this. It's now like this process where I have to set aside like a certain amount of time. You know, like I need to have this 45-minute block so I can just play this game for a little bit. I don't know. I'm getting old. Don't have time for these load screens. Especially,
I really think, falling back a little bit on what we were talking, I think the 1 year mark is like the sweet spot. It's like, oh, cool, this game's coming out. I can expect to see it in about a year from now.
Right.
Yeah,
a year's cool. Yeah.
I think 1 year is 1 year is perfect. You can be anticipating the game and then, you know, not work yourself up too much. But then, like, when you say it's, 2 years down the line, by that point, you're like, oh, well, I don't even know why you showed me that because I'm going to forget about it in 6 months.
Right.
Or in 6 months, you might have the game canceled, and then I'm going to be mad and signing petitions for other developers to pick up where you've left off just so I can see this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Project Origin. Do you remember that one?
Project Origin? No, I don't
think it was called Project Origin. Let me do a quick Google search.
So am I. Project Origin.
Enhance.
Let's see.
Enhance.
Fear 2?
Nope, totally saying the wrong name. It's so old. It was this fantasy first-person shooter kind of game, and it looked like basically somebody living through the attack on Isengard or the attack on the White City in Lord of the Rings. And it looked really cool. Like they had giant ogres and arrows were like making little orcs and stuff react from the pain and all this kind of crap. And then it got canceled. It was this gorgeous looking tech demo that they put together, and it got canceled. And like everybody was signing up to try to have it picked up by somebody else. Somebody out there listening to this has got to know what game I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that one.
I don't know why.
Yeah, that's always the worst too, when you're kind of excited and the game gets canceled. That's always a bummer.
That's why you can't announce them too early. 1 year is the sweet spot. Rockstar's got it handled, baby. 1 year you wait and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, they are a good example, and they usually show you like game footage too.
And their trailers are all game footage.
Right. They never show you. They never make up shit. I don't really play any Rockstar games, but they always do a great job of. They do a great job of selling their product. They do a great job of showing you what you're going to be playing.
Yeah.
I guess. You kind of didn't. You thought what's it called was going to be different than it was.
Oh yeah.
L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire. I thought it was going to be totally different. Totally different. But
yeah.
I guess if you knew what you were going to expect when you're going into it, I don't think that game would be as disappointing. You might be disappointed by the story and the ending of it, but if people knew that it wasn't going to be Grand Theft Auto 1940s Los Angeles, then you wouldn't have been disappointed because the game is not that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we were chatting a little while today. Phil, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it.
Cool, yeah. It's great being on.
Yeah. Best of luck, by the way, with your next video. I don't know when you're going to start or if you've got any deadlines set for yourself, but honestly,
I try to give myself a month deadline. I'm shooting for like around this time next month, so like 18th, weekend of the 18th. I'm shooting for it. We'll see. I made a little timeline.
Cool.
I'll see what happens.
Well, if you know anybody, if you need any voices to add into it, I know this guy who's got what is told a buttery voice. I might be able to get you in contact with him.
I wonder who it could be.
But no, seriously, it sounds like a lot of
Perhaps.
work. I wish you nothing but the best of luck with that. If anybody out there has any topics they want us to discuss on the show, be sure to send them to info@elder-geek.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/eldergeek.com. Twitter, Twitch TV, JTV, they're all Twitter, JTV/eldergeek.com spelled out, just like our YouTube channel. Of course, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Was really kind of hoping, you know what, I'm gonna tease it because you guys listened to this long, and thank you for listening this long. Hopefully, next week we're gonna put up a poll and we're gonna do a your favorite game developer poll. We're gonna do a 64 bracket poll that everybody can kind of vote on. Hopefully, that'll be up next week.
Randy, who do you think I would vote for in that poll?
Are you serious? Do you want me to tell you? Would vote Nintendo. You would vote Nintendo. There's a ton of people on here. The way I would probably end up voting, I'm gonna end up voting like which one out of the two that I don't want to see win. You know, it's always gonna. I don't want to say it's gonna be a lesser of two evils because I have a lot of companies on this list that I really like, but there's some I don't want to see battle one another. Like Fat Shark, I don't want to see them go up against Ronimo, you know, or you know, Tale of Tales. I'd be like, but which one? Which one is cooler?
Right.
So
it's tough. It's tough picking your favorite.
so get excited for that. Hopefully next week. I can't make any promises because my personal schedule has been just basically hell lately. I'm trying to put together at least a daily video for everybody here. But thanks for subscribing. We just did a video for Men of War Condemned Heroes, and Mott is actually going to be cracking the video review for... He's working on 2 right now. Awesome Knots and Max Payne 3. And then I'm hopefully going to have Sword and Sorcery done sometime within the nearish future.
Is Max Payne 3 like soon? Is that really soon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it is.
I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was that soon.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Talk to you all tomorrow.
All right. See you guys.